Hello guys, welcome to Alasdair Aquatics. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the question, can you keep goldfish with live plants? Now straight away, if you look behind me, yes you can. That is my answer. Yes you can. It is possible. However, there are a few rules. Now I want to start off by saying this tank behind me has been running for around 3 months with live plants and my two fancy goldfish, Timmy and Jimmy. I do have a previous video on the setup of this tank, so be sure to check that out if that's something you're interested in. There are a few things you're going to want to bear in mind if you want to keep plants with your fancy goldfish. First of all, bear in mind your tank is of an adequate size. You're going to have quite a big tank for fancy goldfish. They grow quite large, so bear this in mind. And live plants overall are quite good for an aquarium. They're going to grow and they're going to pull nitrate from the water and overall give it a natural look. When I set this tank up, I knew I wanted to keep everything in it natural, and that's why I thought I'd give the live plants a go. So to start off with, my number one tip, make sure you pick hardy, tough species of plants. When I say hardy plants, I mean things that don't require CO2, relatively easy to grow. They're not high demand plants. They don't need lots of fertilizer. They don't need loads of light. Things that do well in most setups. So things like Anubias, cryptocorynes, Java fern. These are all great examples of what I would call hardy plants. The other thing you want to bear in mind is they need to be tough. When I say tough, I mean physically tough. You want the leaves to be quite tough and firm, so that if the goldfish were to sort of nibble on them, they're not just going to tear them to pieces. So something like Elodia or Limnophila, that would be quick work for these two, I almost guarantee it. In the past I've kept fancy goldfish and I planted it up with some Elodia and Limnophila, and literally within about an hour it was all gone. They'd eaten a lot. So you want to keep plants with tougher leaves. So things like cryptocorynes, this is a great example. Anubias, another great example. Java ferns, that's a great example. I have also tried out a few others, and when we take a closer look at the tank, I'll let you know how they've done. Some have fared better than others, but overall they're doing well. But bear that in mind when you're choosing the plants. It's not just any old plants, it's got to be some specific, tough, hardy varieties. The second thing you want to be sure of is that when you get your plants and add them to your aquarium with goldfish, you are planting them in the correct way. So things like Anubias and Java fern. Java fern is also known as Microsorum for those of you out there that might know it as that. These are what you would call epiphyte plants. So rather than being planted down in the substrate, in the gravel or in the sand, they are wedged in between rock and wood, and most of the root is sort of open to the water column. So if you look behind me here, you can see I've got quite a bit of Anubias that I've wedged in between two rocks. Just bear in mind, if you're adding these to a tank with fancy goldfish, you're going to want to make sure that they are really well wedged in place. Goldfish, their natural behavior is to go along and nibble on things. I think you can see Timmy there, he was just having a nibble on the rock behind me. It's their natural sort of scavenging behavior. They're going to go along looking for food, and they will nibble on the plants, and that action can actually pull them out of their position. So just make sure they're nicely positioned, quite well in place. The other thing to bear in mind is obviously there's lots of plants in here that are planted straight into the substrate. These are planted into sand behind me. I've been quite lucky. I've planted them into quite a deep layer of sand, and Timmy and Jimmy haven't uprooted them yet. This is something that maybe as they grow, it might be something I run into. There are various ways around this. If this keeps happening, you can get some small stones of maybe a few centimeters in diameter and just place them around the base of the plant. This ensures that they can't get a hold of the roots, or they aren't able to sort of remove the substrate from the base of the plant. So adding some small stones around the base of the plant will help protect it. So I want to start off by telling you my two favorite plants for keeping with fancy goldfish, and these are the ones that I've had the best results with myself. This is Anubias. There's various types of Anubias. I would stick to Anubias nana barteri or just Anubias barteri. So some of the varieties of Anubias that have slightly larger leaves, if you go down the variety of bonsai Anubias, these smaller leaves are a bit more delicate, and I think there's just a bit more of a chance of the goldfish uprooting them. However, if you particularly want to give that a go, I'd say try it out, but my experience, I'd say the larger leaved varieties of Anubias are a great sort of one to give a go in a goldfish tank. Another plant, my second sort of top plant to suggest, is Cryptocorynes. I have various species behind me. These have quite tough waxy leaves, very easy slow growing plant, and they look quite nice, and they've worked out really well in this tank. So they're my sort of two basic sort of best suggestions for plants for a fancy goldfish tank. Now you might be thinking, hold on a minute, Alasdair, there's a few other plants in the background there and they don't look like Cryptocorynes or Anubias. Well, I have tried out a few different plants. I've tried out some a species of crinum, a species of aponogetum, and these are both actually doing quite well. Admittedly, the tank is still relatively new, so hopefully in the coming months I'll see how they're doing, but they're not being, you know, torn to pieces by the goldfish. So they're plants to bear in mind if you're at home wondering what other plants you could add to your fancy goldfish tank. There are also some Amazon swords or Echinodoris, and there is also a dwarf nymphea, or what you would call dwarf tiger lotus. Now I got these from a friend. He was trimming his aquarium and he just said, Alasdair, do you want these? And I said, yeah, I'll give them a go with my fancy goldfish. So thanks for that, Ben. And as you can see, it's worked out pretty well. Admittedly, every now and then there is a nibbled leaf here or there. Now, it's worth mentioning that Echinodoris and sort of dwarf tiger lotus, the leaves are slightly more fragile than Cryptocorynes and Anubias. So I think this is why I occasionally am noticing some ripped leaves here or there. But overall, they're still not doing too bad. So what I want to do now is take a closer look at the tank and let's see how it's doing. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope maybe it gave you some inspiration or some confidence to get out there and add some live plants to your fancy goldfish tank. Let's have no more multicolored gravel, no more bridges, unless that's something you're interested in. But if you want to make your tank a natural looking, live planted tank with fancy goldfish, I say give it a go. Try some hardy, tough plants and see what works out. Let's leave some comments down below with your experience of goldfish in plants. Have you had certain goldfish that just seem to have it in their nature that they want to rip these plants to pieces? Have you had great experiences like I have? Or have you had some not so great experiences? Let's share the ideas down in the comments below and try and help each other out. I will be doing some updates on this tank to let you know how it's doing, let you know how it's progressing, and hopefully that's something you're interested in. If it is, again, let me know what you think down below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, and of course, subscribe to see more fish tank related content coming very soon. All right, guys, thank you very much. Take care. And remember, no matter what your tank's looking like, remember to, at some point today, this week, just sit back, enjoy, relax, watch your tank and enjoy it for what it is. We always get caught up in the next maintenance, the next thing to change, and it's worth taking that time to sit back and enjoy it. All right, guys, that's a final word from me. Take care, enjoy, and have a great time. All right, bye for now.